live. And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. And this is the Sports is My Love Language podcast. I'm your boy, Dropping Dimes, aka the Hopeful Romantic, aka the Feminist with Chauvinist Tendencies. And I'm here with my crew, and I'm super excited because this is going to be our first episode where we go to Spotify, we go to Apple, and you can take us with you, man. So we're really excited. We're going to bring the heat, we're going to bring the noise. And as always, I'm here with my crew, my peoples, starting off with the first lady of our podcast, Ms. Vega. How you doing, Ms. Vega?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic, man. A little shout out to Georgia. Yeah. All right, here we go. We're in here. Up next is, as always, El Colombiano, Javito. Nice. Here we go. And yo, look, if you need the news, if you want to know about a trade, if you want to know who your fantasy football move should be, yo, we got him. Here he is, as always, PD Pablo, aka L Schefter. Yeah. So
What's
once
up,
again,
y'all?
we
What's
are
up?
here, and this is the Sports is My Love Language podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm super excited. We got some good topics, man. We got some good topics. There's a lot going on in the world of sports, and not just in the sports, as in like physical sports, but also in the what I like to call the soap opera of sports. One of the things that is at the top of my list, and I had my radar going as a huge college football fan. Anybody that knows that I deal in two sports that I absolutely adore are college football and boxing. Those are my sports. I absolutely love them. So I'm with the shits 100% on what's going on down there in the South in the SEC. We got our guy Nick Saban, and we're gonna go into it because a lot of what he did was misunderstood, in my opinion, because I knew what he was trying to say. And believe it or not, it took Deion Sanders to kind of explain it to me when I was like, oh, that's what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? I thought he was just taking shots. I thought it was shots fired, man, to be honest. That's what I thought was going on. You know what I mean? But the truth is, it was him talking to his constituents saying, yo, get your shit together. We need to compete. These people are going to overtake us as the powerhouse. And the number one thing in Alabama is, yo, we better get our shit together. He's going to motivate the fan base and the boosters and all the money. That's what he was really trying to do. But there was some soap opera stuff that happened in between because he named names. He really named names. So, Jen, I'm going to throw it to you because I know you got a hot take on it already. You was already telling me. What are your thoughts on this whole situation with the NIL and what they got going on?
Okay, so on May 8th, the Division I board came out and said that schools can no longer use boosters and collectives as a bargaining chip. Basically, they can't. What they're being accused of is using money as straight up payoffs instead of actual NIL deals. So that was sent in a memo to all Division I schools on May 8th. Within 9 days, Saban made the comment that he did. Okay, so he's been thinking about this memo that got sent to all the schools. Okay, because basically now Division I is saying we're watching you, because NCAA has basically said no, we're not dealing with NIL unless it's to review a case in the past 10 months. Otherwise, it's up to each division to deal with it. Now, next week, the SEC has their board conference. And one of the possible scenarios that they're discussing is actually having basically just one championship game for the SEC, not being involved in an actual conference to conference championship game, because in 2025, the college football championship contract runs out. This is what I think they're preparing to do. I think the SEC is going to go rogue. And the reason that I say that is because the SEC made $778 million by themselves last season, not this season, but the previous season. And that was 58 million more than the year before with COVID as a circumstance. So I think this is all a setup to, like you said, to have the boosters and the collectives work their butts off to raise as much money as possible.
I will say this. I'm going to go with you on that if they're going to do that, if and only if they get Texas. I'll tell you why. Between Texas, right? And I'd have to double check this, but I know I'm very close on this. Texas channel. There's their sports channel. They're a football channel. And their entity as a Texas whatever university makes as much money as I believe the Pac-12, the Big Big 12, whatever. They make as much money as a lot of conferences. So I don't think they're just going to go and make that move if they're not going to get the big boy.
Well, Texas and Oklahoma are going to be joining the SEC.
Right. Oh, look at that.
And it's going to be 16 teams. So now they're trying to figure out, this is also going to be part of the meetings next week, how they're going to break down. Is it going to be 2 divisions within the SEC, 8 and 8? They're trying to plan all of this out before 2025 hits and that contract expires.
Yeah, I see what I see. Well, first of all, I'm going to pass it on to what do you call it, to Pablo, to PD Pablo, my man. I want to know, what's your opinion on this whole thing? What did you see?
So
it'll be as far as like what are your thoughts? Just what are your thoughts?
So three different points for me. 2 of them are going to be brief, so I can focus on the third one. Number 1, it was dumb for Saban to call out Fisher and Dion. I don't know what strategically that meant, because he is not a dumb man. He never shoots off the cuff. He's not. So, I was like, I wonder why he would specifically call that out. But it is what it is. Whatever. He was wrong for it. He could have still made that same point without having to name any names. But whatever. The second part, to your point, Jen, about the Division I declaration earlier this month, I'm curious as to what supersedes, because state law, there are states that have state nil laws, still trump everything in terms of who they can do business with. And each state has their own unique individual rules, right? Simple stuff like, I didn't get a chance to look at them all, but like Alabama says, you can't do business with alcohol, tobacco, controlled substance, casinos, adult entertainment. You can't do that. And you can't go into a contract with someone that is like a competitor. If Alabama has a contract with a company, like I don't think you can go to the competitor and do a nil as a student athlete with like the competition or something like that. So there's just nuances like that. Texas has their own little nuances and things like that. So I'm curious. I think that should still trump, quote unquote, those kinds of things. But the third point is another aspect of to why Saban is frustrated is because they're getting blackmailed. They're getting extorted. The schools are getting extorted because the nil is supposed to be for the student to go to like a local business or a big corporation. That's why they have the agents to go negotiate that. But what the agents are doing is they're saying, my guy here has got a deal with X school. No, he's committed. He wants to go to this school also, and he's got a nil deal with this company through the boosters, because that's part of Saban's message to the boosters is that get your money right, because you guys can help negotiate this shit. Alabama can't. Like, and that's some of the things in the other state laws is like in Texas, the schools can't directly negotiate for the student, so they can't profit for it. So he's pissed because now those agents are doing, instead of them going out and talking to companies, they're pitting the schools against each other. So that's what's got him frustrated, because it's basically extortion. You know what I'm saying? To the school. With that being said, I don't feel sorry for you. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel sorry for you, because I don't know if anybody's, and I haven't heard anybody say it in this way. I still think the nil is the NCAA's way of they kind of said, okay, fine. It's their way of saying this is so that the students can't get any of the money that the conferences are still collecting.
Yeah.
In other words, you can go get your money somewhere else, but you can't get off of this pot.
Right.
And I think that's the reason why the NCAA is like, whatever. But because now the schools are getting extorted, oh shit, we didn't realize that could happen. Right? Oh, we're going to get extorted. Now we have to compete even harder for the students. Even though we're not going to give them our money, somebody else is giving them more money at another through the school. So that's basically what's happening. I think that's the layout foundation for Saban's frustration because, oh my God, he only had the second best recruiting class this year, as opposed to number one, because I think it was Texas A&M that had the top class.
More,
right?
yeah, they beat him
Right?
again.
So,
And let's
so
be
that's
honest,
why it was like that for me. I mean, I don't feel sorry for them. I don't.
it could even be coming from above him. You know what I mean? Like he might be taking heat from whoever, from even the board at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's frustrated, and he's finally saying something because he's tired of hearing it.
Yeah, because the only other coach has even opened his mouth about it is Dabo Swinney, but he is clearly like, "No, man, these students are our labor, and that's what they should be, free labor." That's clear, basically what he's been saying.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't think they deserve anything.
No,
you know. But Saban's the only one that's kind of talking about the process that's out there. You know, he's not saying, hey, they don't deserve to get anything. He's not saying that they deserve to get our money, but he's saying they deserve to go out and do something for themselves. But he just doesn't like the way that the schools are getting blackmailed into pitting against each other, for that, which in essence means you got to tell your boosters, you guys have the connections, you better do something or else we ain't going to get this kid. But again, I don't feel bad for him.
I'll tell you right now, man. I'm going to say this about the whole NIL deal. The whole NIL situation. I think it's so hypocritical. Mm-hmm. It's so full of shit to me. The fact that he would even he would even call people out, like the way he did it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, you know what? Within the context of what we originally thought, right? The fact that he named names to me was like, what are you doing, bro?
Yeah, exactly.
What are you doing? The best part of that whole situation was the fact that Jimbo, shout out to his name, Jimbo, comes out of nowhere, and the dude is like, "Oh, you want to expose me?
Yeah.
You don't know that I know?
Did you forget I work for you?"
It was such a petty back and forth, bro. Yeah. It was such a petty back and forth that it was like this. I never thought that at that level, that kind of drama would happen. The way the pettiness, the way it was, and it was like two buddies hanging out. One buddy cheated on his wife, and he wants to call him out, and he's looking at him like, "Oh, I cheated on my. What about when you with that hooker?" Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, putting him under the bus. My issue in the whole situation is, and I think the person that came out like looking like an adult was Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders came out looking like an adult. He was like, and you know what I really like with the kid Hunter, the one that the number one recruit that got recruited by him,
Travis Hunter, I believe.
Yeah, Travis Hunter. He comes out and he goes, "I got $1 million. That's why
I saw his
tweet. Still living in a 3-bedroom with 4 kids. Like where's this $1 million that I'm talking about?" Now, let's not be naive and not think that there's not shit in the works. There's promises made. You know what I mean? That's the truth. But I like the way Deion went about it. He was like, "Yo, like, nah, man." He came out and was like, "No, that's not what's happening here. This is a culture change." He's the only one that came out looking like an adult to me. The rest of them, oh man, it was kiddie pool time, bro.
Yeah.
Like, so it turns out Saban was talking to his constituents, to his boosters. Like, hey, we need to do more of what they're doing. That's what we need to do. We need to do more of what they're doing. Where it came off like, oh, they're cheating. You know what I mean? Now, part of me says this. He was saying they were cheating.
Oh, yeah.
He named names. He kind of basically like singled them out as cheaters. All I'm saying is this. I cannot wait. I'm super excited. I cannot wait for October 8th, bro. When they go into over the Texas A&M and they got to play Jimbo and face. I want to see what if they do that handshake at halfway in the midfield or whatever. Because that's gonna be, first of all, already Texas A&M has like their number because they're the only one that's kind of beating them. But then they're also getting them 2 years in a row in recruiting, so it's kind of like a slap in the face. So all I know is I'm super excited to see where that ends up, man.
They beat them last season.
Exactly, he's the only one that has that kind of leverage over him. Nobody else has that kind of leverage over him. Everybody else has been whatever.
And it's funny to your example, really quick, Mike. I cheated on my wife. But you were the one that introduced me to her.
Yeah,
like you were the one that
you're the one.
You set us up.
you said, yeah. So
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like you got, I know when he said, "I know where the bodies are." Talk to his offensive coordinators; they know where the bodies are. I was like,
That's
"Oh,
mafia right there.
yeah."
That is
And
mafia.
what I don't know, and I'm going to end it with this because we're going to move on to our next segment. I don't know why that right there. See, this is where it pisses me off, and I feel like the NCAA is a bullshit organization because right there they should have been
Mhm.
investigation, but it's not going to happen. Those are two big powerhouses. So now moving on, guys, we're in the dead heat of the NBA playoffs. All right, there's some teams. One day they look hot, one day it's not. There's some teams that one day they look like this is a championship team. The next day they don't. You got the Warriors, you got the Celtics, you got the Mavs, you got freaking Miami. Yesterday, during pre-production, the Kill made a great point. He was like, I don't know if that Miami team is as good as it is." And I was listening to talk radio today, and they were saying, well, they're winning from the shoulders up. In other words, they're winning the mental game. When they win with their brain, like the way they play the game. I thought that was fascinating. I'm really interested to think. Javito, what are your thoughts on the NBA?
Well, absolutely right. Very inconsistent play throughout the Eastern Conference playoffs, right? So, from the head up, I will always say I trust the Miami Heat than I trust more of the Boston Celtics. To me, the Boston Celtics has the better talent. They have, to me, a better starting five. To me, they have more depth on the bench. But what I do give on the Miami Heat side is that they have tough mental players. And I'm not talking about, the Tyler Heroes. I'm talking about a Jimmy Butler. I'm talking about a PJ Tucker. Those are the guys that resonate when I see who can I trust on that basketball court to do the right thing. And those are the two guys that I feel that would do the right thing more times than not. As opposed to the other side, on the other side, I'll look at the Boston Celtics and say, look at that talent. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart. You keep going and you see more. I even think Grant Williams is a better version of let's just say of a PJ Tucker at this point, because I think Grant Williams gives you a little bit more flexibility on the defensive side more than PJ Tucker, because PJ Tucker looks like he's lost a little bit of a step. He doesn't look like that guy that used to be on the Houston Rockets, but it's been very inconsistent. I will say this. I feel like even though it's 2-2, I feel like the Boston Celtics has always been the better team. It's just they're mentally not always there. Like, let's just take, for instance, their star player is Jason Tatum. When Jason Tatum just reacts and plays basketball, he's hard to stop. But when he's there thinking about what to do, that's where he messes up the most. So I feel like what the Miami Heat need to do is make him basically think about it. Instead of pressuring right away, slow into him. If he starts making quick decisions, that's where you get him playing at his best, because he's going to make quick decisions that everything else basically falls into place. Now, let's take it to the Western Conference. Let's just put it out there right now. Luka Doncic is a superstar. All right? That boy can ball. All right? There's nobody that could stop him offensively. Look, elimination games, he is scoring 36 points plus every single time. He just has that extra gear, per se, when it comes to it's go time, it's elimination time. Let me do what I can to take this team.
Yeah, that clutch
right
gene.
now. So, I will say, yes, he has that clutch gene. It's just too bad that he doesn't have, let's just say, the surrounding cast, or let's just say the play of the surrounding cast, because if it feels like, you live by the three, then they're dying by the three, and it just feels like sometimes you just need to take it to the hole, try to create some fouls, but they're not doing that. And I feel like that's why they lost game 2. They had game 2 in the bag. They were up 19 points. You can't lose that game, and they did. That's why they went down 3-0. But let's just talk about my man Steph Curry. He is still one of the top 5 players in the NBA. All right. He can light it up at every single point. Let's put it this way. Let's go back to game 3. he scored 32 points. And nobody was talking about that because of the game that Andrew Wiggins had, right?
Mm.
Andrew Wiggins posterized the superstar in the playoffs. And not only that, he went off. Offensive rebounding, defense, whatever Andrew Wiggins wanted to do that day, he did it. He was aggressive. And I will say this, if Andrew Wiggins could bring that type of energy on a day-to-day basis in the playoffs, I think the Golden State Warriors are looking at another championship because I think he's the X
I
factor
agree.
because they already have a Draymond Green that can defend. But if Andrew Wiggins can pick it up just the way he picked it up, like that game 3, there's no way you're stopping that team. No way, because you got Steph Curry, then you got Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole, and then now you got to worry about Andrew Wiggins giving you 27. There's just no way you win with a fourth guy giving you 27.
I've got a question for you guys. Better dunk, John Morant or Andrew Wiggins?
I'm gonna say Luke dunking over Luka means a little bit more at this point. All right.
Yep,
and,
I would agree.
And that's I think that's the only reason, because if you actually take a look at it, you might think that, since John Morant is shorter and just, cocked it back and just laid it on that guy, but he didn't take it on a guy that is a superstar. Luka Doncic is a superstar, and what Andrew Wiggins did, he was not the superstar player, doing it to him, it makes it look that much even better. It's just like Draymond Green. When you dunk on somebody, it's nice, but when you dunk on a superstar, it means just a little bit more. And that's exactly how I felt when I saw that. I went, and then I saw an awesome offensive foul. I was like, whoa, what's up?
Yeah. I'm glad they reviewed that.
They review, but like, come on, man, you got to let that one go. That's just straight up, I'm dunking it on you, and that's it. There was no offensive foul about that. But anyways, I'm glad they reviewed that, and I actually feel that dunk was better.
What about you, Pops? Which one would you like?
No, I agree with Javi. That Wiggins dunk was nasty, and both were in the playoffs, but conference finals means a little more, momentum. More eyes probably saw it, all that kind of stuff. As far as
my opinion was that physically, if I just looked at it physically, took everything else out of it, I thought the Morant dunk was nasty, right? I thought that was nasty just because it kind of gave it like a little flair.
Yeah.
But when you add in everything we just talked about, that it's Luka Doncic, it's at that point in the game, in the playoffs, nationals, bro,
Conference finals.
Yeah.
That dunk was nasty, man.
Yeah,
that was nasty. And you know what? Props to Luka, because a lot of other players would have been thrown off their game after that. You know what I'm saying? Like, kind of disrespect. Oh, look like shit. He was like, "Oh, word, okay, I got you. We're gonna keep on."
I even give him more to Luka, because even when they talked to him in the post game, he was even wild about it. Like, he's there like, oh, that, he was like, wow, that was awesome. Like, that's just props. And you gotta kind of like that about Luka. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not hating. He's congratulating at that point. Even being down 3-0. But he came back and he put it on them yesterday. So, that's what you got to love about Luka Doncic. Like, I congratulate you, but next game, I'm busting that ass.
I'm busting that. You saw him do the shimmy? I like when he did the shimmy.
He did the shit. Even Steph Curry likes that he did the shimmy.
Oh, yeah. He's
like,
he
said, Steph, should have did a little bit longer. Should have did it a little bit longer.
I want to bring in some comments now. We got our man, Andre, who's been doing big boy things. He'll be back soon with us. He has a comment. The playoff performance remaining. He has number 1, Luka, number 2, Steph, 3, Jimmy Buckets, 4, Jason Tatum, 5, Jaylen Brown. Is there anybody that you would change from that list? Move up, move down?
I agree with that. And I mean,
right? What we're talking about, that's what's left in the playoffs right now? Is
what's
that
left
what
in
we're
the
talking
playoffs.
About? Okay.
Yeah.
I would give that a thumbs up.
I feel like Tatum and Jimmy are interchangeable, depending on which game we're talking about. If it's game 1, this one. Game 2, the other one. It's whoever wins. That's who plays.
No, I'll tell you why I still think Jimmy, because Jimmy, no matter what, is giving it what he has. Where we've seen Tatum, like, bro, where are you, bro? Like, you can't be looked at as where is he, if you're going to be looked at as a top level star like that. You could have a bad game, you could shoot and your percentage is bad and whatever, but you're coming, attacking. That's fine. Bad game is a bad game. But where are you, bro? It's the same thing. I would even say the same thing about Bam, who I would probably normally might have 6th there on that list. But it's the same thing with Bam. Like, where's Bam? The one game he showed up was because Time Lord wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? Because Robert Williams was out, and then he dominated. So you can't be looked at a high level playoff performer if you ain't going to show up every game.
I have a question for you. Saying what you just said,
The James
he
Harden
made
category.
All NBA first team. You think Tatum is All NBA first?
No, Embiid should have been
No.
on that first all team with.
And I think there's a problem with that, right, Pablo? Because they're basically still doing it by position.
No, I saw today you can put same position guys in the teams. It's no hard set rule on it. So it shouldn't have been Tatum. It should have been Embiid with Jokic, with Giannis, and I forgot the other two. It should, you know.
Oh, All NBA first team was Kevin Durant, Steph Curry.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Was it?
Kevin Durant, Steph Curry. No, this is right.
I'd have to look it up, but I just think Tatum should have been second.
I thought
second.
Kevin Durant was second.
That's what I thought. I don't know why they have it here. Somebody else pull it up on your thing because I got it up. I pulled up All NBA team. It might just be everybody. I don't know.
With that being said, you know, it's not position limit. Like, it's not position centric.
I honestly think second team whips first team's ass. I don't know about you guys. If you look it up, Pablo, bring those off. I think, I'm looking. In my opinion, second team beats first team.
So it's Devin Booker.
That's what it was.
Devin Booker, Giannis, Jokic, and who's the other one? It's Steph.
Tatum.
No,
it's
Tatum, Booker, Jokic,
Giannis, and Luka. Those are the five.
And
Booker,
it's Durant.
Booker, no. First team is Booker, Luka, Tatum, Giannis, and Jokic.
That's why I'm saying.
And I would have had Tatum second. I would have had Tatum second.
Durant, freaking Steph. What do you call it? Embiid is on second team. Forget about it. Second team, DeRozan, and I believe
Morant, Ja
Morant.
Ja Morant. I think NBA All NBA second team whips All NBA first team's ass. That's just my opinion. I don't know how.
But like I said, I would have had Booker, Luka, Giannis, Jokic, and Embiid as the first team. Mm-hmm. That's what I would have had.
I think
those three guys were top three in MVP votes, weren't they? We know Embiid and Jokic were the top two. Giannis was part of that.
Yeah,
like they have to be all NBA first all team.
Yeah.
If you're not restricted by position, it's dumb. You know, because they split the votes. What happens is some people will vote a guy first team. Let's say Embiid gets 10 votes in first team and he gets 15 votes in second. It's not 25 total votes to put. It's whatever you get in first team. Whoever has the most, there end up in first. They split the votes even if it's for the same player, which is dumb. It should just be the top 15. First 5, they're in first team. Next 5, second team. Bottom 5, third team. Because it's not position based.
I agree with you when you said Embiid. Embiid should have been. He had a hell of a season, man.
Mm-hmm.
He had a hell of a season, bro. I would have taken out Tatum if I could do that. If I could put him in whatever, I would have taken out Tatum and I would have put him in. I think that Embiid had one of those, him
and it cost guys money because they were talking about it today. Tatum he lost 30 to 35 million because there's provisions in Supermax contracts if you make NBA first all team for your Supermax.
Mm-hmm.
And because his votes got split, this was last year's vote got split last year, and he ended up on second team. Then he lost that ability to get that extra 30 to 35 mil.
That's bullshit.
So why have the restrictions on the positions? Just vote for the top 15 in order of votes, total votes, and those are your 15 All NBA guys, from most votes to 15.
Well, I agree. That makes sense. I don't know why they do it the way they do.
The game is positionless, so who cares what the position?
That's what it is, and that's what somebody was saying. I forgot who I was watching. They were saying it. I think it was Colin Cowherd. He's like, "Yo, that's the old NBA, man. When you had a true center, we had a true guard. Now you got Luka playing guard. You got LeBron coming up playing guard. I saw an interesting stat. That's what it was. The last time All NBA first team did not have Kevin Durant, Steph Curry or LeBron James was 2006.
They're all 27 and under this year.
That is great. NBA is in a good. NBA is in a good. That's a good position to be in. Because I also saw that they were talking about that they were worried that what would happen after the Jordan era, how there was a slump in ratings and shit kind of went to shit for a little while, would happen again. But what they're realizing is that the ratings are up. No LeBron. I think I was personally over it, and I'm like, I see LeBron in the shit. Okay, I appreciate the excellence. I feel the same way I feel about Brady. All right, enough. Give somebody else a shot, bro. I don't want to see you there again. I know I've seen this show before. Let's see somebody else. You know what I mean? Like I'm good with that. You know, I want to see Luka. I want to see Steph. I want to see the
Steph's 34. He's right behind LeBron. Steph's 34.
Yeah. He just.
It's not even about Steph, really. Sorry, Dre. I know that's your boy, but it's really these guys, these first five, and Embiid behind them. And Trae Young and John Morant.
Yeah, the league's in a good spot, bro. The league's in a good spot talent-wise, man. They got some boys that can ball. All right, so Pablo, what do you think? What about the playoffs, man? What are you thinking about? Let's start with the Celtics Heat series. What are your thoughts on that?
To me, it comes down to two things: Bam Adebayo. You going same thing I said about Tatum. You going to show up, or you just going to back down to Robert Williams? You know what I'm saying? Because Bam has only taken 37 total shots. He's shooting 64%, but he's only taking 37 shots. You should be the second guy on that team with the most shots behind Jimmy. You're only taking 37 shots, the majority of which came in that game 3. And then the other 3 games, where you been, bro? You know what I'm saying? He was afraid to attack. Again, if you're attacking and you're not making shots, whatever, fine, no problem. But you're playing your game. He ain't playing his game when Robert Williams is out there. And it's bad enough that Horford's there to help too. But again, if the Heat don't make their threes, then Horford can stay in the paint. But if the Heat make their threes, especially PJ Tucker, if PJ Tucker just goes 2 for 4 or 3 for 5 from 3, now Horford has to come out. And that lets Bam work also. Tyler Hero, 6th man of the year, has been irrelevant. He was shooting 7% from the field from 3 when he was playing. So you don't get anything from your 6th man of the year. Boston's coming in full strength tonight. Marcus Smart's back. And
So what are your predictions for tonight? What do you got?
Man.
I
would like to say the Heat's gonna come out with this backs to the wall, kind of like Dallas did last night. Like, we got to get this game. But if they're not shooting the ball well, it's not gonna happen. And if they're not hitting those threes, Boston can attack you from the inside with Horford and Robert Williams and Tatum, attacking. So, I'm rooting for the Heat to win because, obviously living down here, I have friends, that are Heat fans. So I'm kind of rooting for the Heat, for them, support them. But logically, I think Boston wins this game. But we'll see. We'll see.
All right. So what are your thoughts on? Do you think the Mavs have another game in them on the West?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just not enough. They don't have enough. The role players have not, for the most part, don't play well on the road. Generally, that's what this team has shown in the playoffs. Except for a couple of occasions, but you can't just have it a couple of occasions. You got to win on the road. You don't have the home court. If you only have one superstar, you guys have to come through consistently. It doesn't mean that Brunson or Dinwiddie, they have to drop 40 also, but you got to be efficient, like they were last night with the 3. You got to be efficient, and I just don't know if they have to show it to me as a group behind Luka, and I know people say that Luka needs another guy. Yeah, he needs another guy that will be consistent, game in and game out. Does it have to be another superstar? Maybe, maybe not, but he just needs that second guy that has to be enough of a threat consistently. Then that opens up everything else for the other role players. And I just, they got to win all 3 games remaining. I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough road for them, man. I honestly feel this is going to be a little off, but I honestly feel like Golden State took last night off and was like, we want to win this shit at home. I think that's how good they are. I think they're like, we're not really pressed. This team, they came out, they balled. All right, we took the L. We'd rather come home and win win this at home. I don't know, for some reason I get this. So when I'm looking at this playoff picture, right? I look at, for some reason, it's their veteran presence, it's the way they play, the Warriors, and then look at everybody else. I know it's not that big a difference. I know it's not that whatever, but to me, for some reason, I separate the Warriors from everybody else. I'm like, this is a team that wins at will. Like, they have so many weapons on any given night. Like, when Steph and Clay are shooting average, they're not making big points. Yo, you got these new breed of Poole and Wiggins, and these guys come through. You know what I mean? And you have this steady veteran presence that is never shaken. They're always very like, yo, we're down 19 now, no problem. We'll be all right. You know what I mean? It's like, that's how much confidence they have in their three ball.
And they're not even really at full strength, because I think one of their best defensive players, Gary, and Dre put it in the chat earlier, Gary Payton.
Hardaway. And Gary Payton, right?
Or Hardaway, whatever. Yeah,
well,
whatever.
Hardaway's on the Babs.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Now you're confusing me, Mike. Don't confuse me. Tim
my
Hardaway
apologies.
Jr. So, he's out, right? He was a key piece. And if Kuminga actually can play,
so is Iguodala.
And Iguodala may be coming back. Like, they're not at full strength, and they're still rolling along.
They're not at full strength at all.
And maybe they're just trying to save Iguodala for the finals, because they're going to need that experience, because, obviously not to pull ahead, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter who wins the East, because the two East teams are similar in the way they play defense. They play team defense. They switch and all that. That can give Golden State problems.
I think the physicality, what I believe is the physicality can give Golden State problems.
That's what I'm saying, because
you know what I mean.
You don't have to match up. You can, because even Bam can switch up and play on the perimeter defensively. If you're Boston, you have Horford and Robert Williams out there. They can kind of help each other out on switches with the smaller guys, with Tatum and Brown and all these other guys. So I think either East team will give Golden State issues. Don't ask me who would win yet, because we're not there yet. But if Golden State gets back Iguodala and, they get more from Kuminga, if they give him a little more time, it's gonna be a good finals, I think.
All right, so let's get some predictions. Javi, next game. Give me your prediction for Celtics Heat and Warriors Mavs next game. What do you got? Which team do you got to win?
Me?
Yep.
Yeah. What do you got?
All right, I got the Celtics winning tonight, just for the fact that they are full strength. And I do feel that Jimmy Butler is going to be at his prime. The last two games, he hasn't been on his prime. I think he's the only real reason why the Heat might have a chance today. He's the one guy that I always look at. And then come the Warriors and Mavs, the Warriors are going to win. They need to know. And they got to go back game. Then game 7 just goes to the point of, like, I don't know what to do, because I believe in Luka Doncic right there. I believe in him to basically carry them and will them to a victory at that point. But I feel like the Warriors are going to win the next game.
Okay. Pablo, what are your thoughts for the next games?
Yeah, now I was kind of hedging a little bit in my previous commentary, but I think Boston will win tonight. Logic. I'm just going with my logic, as opposed to who I'm rooting for in terms of emotional side. And I think Golden State will just put it away at home against Dallas, and just sit there and wait.
Hey Jen, you got any picks? You got anybody who? She's like, that's not my thing, Mike.
No, sorry.
I'm gonna go Warriors in the next game, and I'm gonna go. I think Boston. I think Boston, they're healthier, and I think Marcus Smart makes the difference, man. I think he comes in there, these bodies, puts it on Lowry and all them, and I think they pull it out. So that's where we're going with that. What do you call it? I was gonna ask. What do you call it? Oh, okay. So now we're gonna move on to the next segment, and we want to talk about this. What do you call it? So there's events in sports where the loser is what's memorable. It's like something happened during the event, and what we remember is that happening and that either debacle, that breakdown, that choke job, that whatever it is, we remember that, and we don't really remember who won, who lost, what the final score was, because it just superseded. So we want to talk about second place, loser takes the cake. How the loser went home with the headline. Let's start off, Jen. What are your thoughts? What's a sport or an event or something that happened where you were like, you know what? I remember the sport, but this is who took the cake.
Now, I'm going to be honest. It's very hard for me to remember sports events from way back. But the one thing that I can distinctly remember is the 2004 ALCS series with the Yankees and the Red Sox. 2004, I was in Kane full time as a student. I was working for Office Max. Yes, Office Max, part time.
Shout out to Kane University.
And I distinctly remember Game 7, leaving work, and it was 8-1. It was the bottom of the fourth, driving home as fast as I could, being so incredibly angry. Not even sad, just angry. I mean, the Yankees were up 3-0 in the series, then lost 3 to the Red Sox. They were back at home. It was the original Yankee Stadium, the house that Ruth built. And I got home. I literally ran to my parents' house, and I got in, and I was like, what the hell? Like, what happened? And my dad said, Johnny freaking Damon. Johnny freaking Damon hit a grand slam. And it was heartbreaking. It felt so wrong at the time.
Because it was Mariano.
Yes. And they were up, and
it was automatic. And we were like, what the hell?
And it was like, is the curse of the Bambino really going to go down like this? Really in Yankee Stadium? And then they celebrated, and it was like that knife in the back going deeper and deeper and getting twisted and turned. And I guess that's how Mets fans feel, though.
Nah. Shot.
Well, I'll just say the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So.
Well played.
Well, what are your thoughts? Or what's an event that you?
So I got two simply because it fall under the category of all you had to do was one thing. All you needed to do was just run the ball, just this one time. And the first one will be Marshawn not getting the ball at the goal line against the Patriots in the Super Bowl. I forgot what number it was. It doesn't matter to me. All we remember is that why didn't you give Marshawn the ball? It doesn't matter that everyone and their mother knew that Marshawn was going to get the ball, including the Patriots. It's Marshawn Lynch at the goal line. Put that guy in there 10 times.
Beast mode.
He'll get in there 9.5. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, oh, you have to do what you did best, Seattle. The other one.
Yourself. Why would you outsmart yourself?
Why? And then the other one, under the category of you should have just ran the ball, was same Patriots, Falcons, 28-3. Everyone says it's 28-3. New England needed every second of that second half to come back. Literally every goddamn second. If you just would have ran the ball a little bit more and eat up that clock, you would have deprived them of the time needed to come back and win. It's as simple as that. That's why, to me, it's most memorable, not just because of a great comeback. But again, Shanahan, right? Kyle Shanahan. What do you do, Kyle Shanahan? You got great running schemes. Take any running back. You know, you could put some schmuck off the street, and that guy will get 100 yards against a team with that running scheme. And you went away from it too. And that's why, those two stand out for me, because it was like in the most pivotal moment, fourth quarter, Super Bowl, you went away from your bread and butter. And you lost because of it.
Javito, what you got? Who are your teams? What are your sporting events?
I got the Miami Heat when they came together to build a super team, losing the first finals. Right? It was like, what? everybody was questioning how great LeBron was, so like that was just the talk. Like, how did this team lose? Like, how did you lose to little JJ Barrera in the post?
Stunted on him.
We
He
know the
stunted on
Dallas
LeBron.
map. Yeah, but that was the weirdest thing, right? You're looking at JJ Barrera and you're just like, how did this little guy get to your head like that? And obviously that's what we talk about, but we know what happened after that. LeBron became LeBron, the greatest player on the planet after that, right? But we talk about that series because we talk about the Miami Heat. They didn't win the championship when they should have, right? Like they should have won, like what, not 4, not 5, like that, like that's why we were all like talking about it, because we're like, you didn't win it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They were.
And
They were
then
out
the
there,
other
man.
one is, I know it's not just one time, but we got to talk about the Buffalo Bills losing 4 straight Super Bowls. And losing
Good
4
point.
straight Super Bowls,
Did you get at least
memorable
one?
in itself. Oh, like, how do you lose 4 straight Super Bowls and not win one? That's it, And shout out to my brother on that one because I know he's a Bills fan, but it is what it is.
Oh,
More
my
shots.
man,
More shots fired.
that is, yeah. No, absolutely, man. That's a good one. Because in that 4-year stretch, the NFC East, like, slapped the shit out of them. And, they kind of get lost in the shuffle because when you talk about that era, a lot of times I always say the Buffalo Bills, that Buffalo Bills era right there, that 4-year squad, I don't know how they don't make, and I understand the logic behind it, but I don't understand how they don't make like top 50 all-time teams. You know what I mean? Like that Buffalo Bills team was as good as sometimes coaching decisions lost them the game. Sometimes their best players didn't show up. There was a lot of different reasons, though. But that Buffalo Bills team could have beaten, if I grab a list of Super Bowl teams, right? And again, the logic is off, but if I grab a list of Super Bowl teams, I think those Buffalo Bills beat half that list. That's how good that team was, man. That's how much talent. That's what I should say. That's how much talent. Bruce Smith, Thurman Thomas, James Lofton, what do you call it? Don Beebe was their special teams guy. They had their other wide receiver, Reed. They had freaking Kelly. Then you got Bruce Smith. We got all these different players on there. Forget about it, man. It was crazy. All right, so from my end, I decided to go with my first one was 86 Mets, Bill Buckner. Right? But it was interchangeable between him and what do you call it? And what was I gonna say? Steve Bartman from the Cubs.
Good one.
Like I was like, those two, I'm gonna go with those two because the truth is there were still other games left that didn't end the series. Like for instance, the Mets. That was what is it, NLCS, right? That was the
No, it was the World Series.
World Series.
Oh yeah,
Boston versus.
sorry. You're right. Yeah, I was like, yo, dude, but there was another game. That's what I meant. There was another game left.
Mm-hmm.
There was another game left. So I'm like looking at them. I'm trying to think. I'm like, holy shit, bro. That took the cake because whenever you think about it, you do remember they won the championship. But the first thing that comes to mind is Bill Buckner.
Right.
And when you talk about the Cubs, the first thing you talk about during that series was Bartman. You know what I mean?
But it's the same thing you're saying, though, that there's still baseball to be played.
Yes, there was still baseball to be played, but it took the superseded. It kind of took the headline. Another one, right, that I wanted to go with was there was the Mike Tyson, what do you call it, versus Buster Douglas. The Mike Tyson Buster Douglas was another one because at the end of the day, it was the headline upset of whatever, but nobody even gave a shit about Buster Douglas. It was the mighty has fallen. I remember the headline. The headline was that coming, like I think it was like the Daily News I used to get at my house, whatever. And it was like how the mighty have fallen. It was Mike Tyson face down like on the freaking canvas or whatever, trying to get up with his mouthpiece out. You know what I mean? And they didn't even mention. It barely mentioned Buster Douglas in the freaking what do you call it?
And didn't he lose the title like the next fight or something like that? I don't remember.
Yeah, he did. He ended up losing, but this is a little known fact about Buster Douglas. Buster Douglas only had a couple more fights, but he had an impressive record. He was good. He wasn't a bad boxer. He actually came back, won a couple of fights. It wasn't like he just disappeared off the face of the earth when, after that he got fat, whatever. No, that's what people say. But he actually went on. He won a couple of fights. He was all right. He was decent.
No, but he didn't go on to have a dominant reign.
No.
So the story still is, you had a great perfect day for yourself, but you didn't do nothing with it. The bigger story is Tyson losing.
Absolutely, man. So I'm gonna go that one. And then here's one that I thought Javi would appreciate. When the Colombian player Escobar got killed, right after that match, I thought that completely took over the narrative of that game. Because I don't even remember who they were playing in the United States, right? Javi, you there?
What, the World
Yeah,
Cup?
I don't know. Who were they playing when Escobar did the same goal?
Yeah, the United States in
Then,
California.
you see, as a casual, I don't even remember who is what. And I was like, but I remember the guy Escobar after that. That kind of jacked the whole narrative of that game, bro. That jacked the whole after that. That's all I remember. I don't remember the score. I don't remember who they were playing. All I remember is that the highlight and the talk of the town was what happened to Homeboy after he left. You know what I mean? So
4
that's
weeks
that.
later.
All right. So we got lucky because we were able to bring our guy, Coach Sean, back in. What's going on, brother? How you feeling, man? How's everything? How you feeling, Sean? How's everything? I think your volume. Check your volume.
Everything's good. Sorry about that. I had the mic muted.
fantastic,
Everything is
man.
good. Just a little under the weather, just getting there. But I'm happy. I'm happy I was able to jump aboard, and I'm excited to be here.
All right, so cool. Hey, listen. So we brought Sean back in because we wanted to, under our notable section of the segment of the show, we were going to touch on something that's very near and dear to his heart, and he wanted to kind of like put out a pitch, either to hey, hopefully gather some momentum. Maybe somebody out there may want to volunteer. But there's definitely something going on in high school baseball, little league baseball, and I'm gonna let Sean. Sean, go ahead. Give us your best heartfelt speech, and hopefully you get some guys motivated to want to help out.
First, I'm gonna say something, Mike, to cut you off. And Jen's gonna appreciate this. Don't forget, you left softball out of there too. You left softball out of there. You just said high school baseball. So
Yeah.
no,
Okay.
it's all good. Yes. Right now we're experiencing a major shortage in officials, and I'm gonna speak on behalf of baseball and softball. But however, I'm hearing that this is across the board in a lot of sports. What's going on right now is it's a number of reasons. It's abuse from coaches and parents. They don't want to take it anymore. You see the videos, and I'm very good at this, and I post a lot of it up on our group pages. Every time I see something about an official getting abused or on a field, or a video posted of it, or somebody posting something on numerous softball and baseball sites that I'm a fan page of, it just lessens the fact, you're going out there, you're making minimum payment, maybe $60-$70 a game, if that $10 an inning is like the average, let's say, and you're getting abused sometimes. We get it. Everybody's passionate about this, but you have some parents and some coaches that just take it to the limit. Now, I, on both hands, can speak from both sides of the fence. I was actually a coach long before I was an umpire and an official. So I'm a different person now on a field and how I treat officials since I became an official. Before that, I'd probably say I was probably a bit of a dick because, you just didn't know and didn't understand the spectrum from the other side of the fence. And that's what we're dealing with now is people don't understand. And we're only human. We're out there making mistakes. Today I was at my daughter's middle school game, which was a county playoffs. It's a middle school softball game. They were lucky to get 2 guys on it. Now, granted, these guys were very old, but you know what? They were there. They were there doing a job so that we could have coverage, that these girls can have a person who's been doing this experience for years. Did they make the best calls? You know what? There was a few they might have missed. There was here or there, but at the same time, nobody abused them. We were trying to be respectful as possible, and that's how it has to be. Because if not that, for those people that are volunteering and not volunteering, they're getting paid, but very minimal. They're doing their time to make sure that these kids have coverage. And these guys are coming from one game now, going to others, not getting a break, working every day. It's been that bad of a shortage. So, I'm here to promote, like, parents, maybe somebody in these groups have kids that are playing sports, and, maybe a call didn't go your way sometimes, and you want to be quick to jump on an umpire and give them skins. And like in my town, I see it at the younger level too. We promote youth umpiring, and we put them on the younger level games. And even at that level, like you're talking like 7, 8 year olds, 9 year olds, parents and coaches are giving these kids who are making like peanuts, just enjoying the game, trying to make a little extra cash for themselves, are giving these guys crap because they made bad calls. Like
I got a
literally,
question.
seriously.
Is there a link or is there anywhere we can go? Number one, maybe we could drop some material so people could read it, like an article or whatever. I think you had posted some stuff on our group page. You can go to the Sports is My Love Language group page on Facebook, and you'll find articles that Sean has posted about this very topic. So you can find that there. But we're also going to look. Is there anywhere that people can go to volunteer? Is there anywhere people can
Um,
go? Like,
I would just like make it known. Like let's just get the word out there. Like like let's be better, parents. Let's be better, coaches. Let's be better. We're setting the example for these youth athletes. You know, let's be better. Let's be better. It all starts with us, and just spreading the word. I assign now. I volunteered. I don't get paid for this. I volunteered to assign games. I assign anywhere up to 100 games a week, possibly, depending. And rainouts just throws crazy. And having a shortage of umpires is not easy. And I've been lucky, based on my network of guys and how I am with them and the relationship I have with them, that they're stepping up to the plate and getting these games coverage. And also, I inherited a group of guys from the district that I assigned for it, and they've been awesome and just stepping up. And we've been getting most of these games coverage. But some nights we went. Some nights at the younger levels, we can't find coverage for these games, and it's kind of sad. All these kids want is just to go out there, have a fair game, and they have to have coaches doing it, and they're not skilled, with all due respect, but they're doing their best. And things just ain't gonna go. It just opens the door, opens Pandora's box for more problems and more situations to take place.
I hear you, man. I hear you. It's sad because at the end of the day, it's the youth that pays. You know what I mean? Instead of hopefully, yeah, we're gonna continue to put the word out, put stuff on our page. Hopefully, cross pollinate with other groups and maybe put stuff on their pages, requesting, some umpiring. Maybe start putting some stuff on some community forums, putting it out there because I remember back in the day, man. Back in the day, like the parents, that's who volunteered, man. Whether it was coaching, whether it was umpiring, that's who was there for us, bro. And the one thing I talk about from where I grew up in North Bergen, New Jersey, is we grew up in an area where we had mentors, we had coaches, we had recreation, and it was so vital to me growing up that it's a very sensitive spot. If I was in a better situation physically, I would 100% volunteer to do that. I used to coach, but I would 100% volunteer to go in and do something like that, learn the craft. You know what I mean? Because I see the value, you know what I'm saying, in being able to facilitate these events for these kids. You know what I mean? It makes me sad when I hear like senior baseball, like varsity baseball, getting canceled. You know what I mean? It goes layers deep because a lot of these kids are, now they can't get in front of that last set of scouts that could change their life and maybe get a scholarship. You know what I mean? Why? Because the game got canceled. We're just, the season's over. Blah blah. That kind of shit. It breaks my heart. It breaks
So,
my heart.
I'm sorry, Jen, to cut you off. To piggyback on what you were saying, our local middle school, okay, my town, my daughter goes to, their baseball team had to cancel their last 2 games due to lack of umpires, regular season games. So now those poor kids ain't getting at bats, getting some playing time that they would have had, and missing out on last 2 games of regular season. The kids that are in 8th grade, last momentum for their middle school team, and they're not even going to get to play it because there's a shortage of umpires and officials. Go ahead, Jen. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I had posted an article last month here in Georgia, in Lithonia, just outside of Atlanta, basketball tournament. The irony. The name of the basketball tournament was the Love of the Game basketball tournament. And 8th graders chased down a ref, pummeled him. He ended up needing 30 stitches. And the parents stood there and just watched and recorded. And it was the head of the tournament that had to run over and start screaming at them and wake the parents up to the fact that they were beating the crap out of an official.
No, it's a sad day, man. It's a sad day. That's not cool.
People
Well, ladies and
forget.
gentlemen,
People forget that it's all about the children. Okay.
Yeah.
we're all human at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's all
You know,
about the children. It's a
people.
place for them to an escape, especially in certain areas and inner cities and everything.
Mhm.
And it's not about you, and it's not about
Mhm.
living through your kids' eyes. It's about the children. Okay, and we all have to. And I've been guilty of this in the past too. So I'm not going to say that I'm innocent standing up here, but we all have to do a better job. And I've been,
Mhm.
making strides at being better at that. And now it's, I won't do anything about that.
No doubt. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to appreciate everybody. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for listening and paying attention and holding on. We're going to be going live tomorrow night. Well, not live, but we're going to be putting on our program on some platforms. So now, if you didn't get to finish listening today, or you were busy running around, yo, take us with you, man. Take us with you on Spotify. Take us with you on Apple. I might even be sneakily putting on another platform. So we'll see. But that starts today, man. This is our first live episode where we're going to be going onto these different platforms and growing, day in and day out. I invite everybody, keep sharing. Definitely, keep the momentum in the group. I really love what's going on in our Sports is My Love Language group. We have a lot of dialogue, a lot of respectful dialogue, a lot of like commenting. Let's keep it growing. Let's keep it growing. Share with your friends. Let them know, hey, there's a safe space we can come, talk sports, agree to disagree, have fun, enjoy ourselves. You know what I mean? Remember, the internet is an escape from the real world. It's not the real world, man. So come to us when you want to get away. Come to us if the sports is your love language because it's ours. And we welcome you into our living room. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a great night. I appreciate you all. To my crew, thank you. I appreciate you guys. And with that, we are out of here.
Peace.
Take it easy,
Bye.
people. Good night.